The ultimatum. The message arrived simultaneously at every major diplomatic outpost across the Galactic Concordat's territory. It bypassed advanced security protocols, appeared on communication terminals without warning, and repeated in perfect unified speech. To all sentient species of the Concordat, this is Earth. Regret will follow this if unheeded. We have watched. We have waited. The time for silence has ended. In the Grand Council chamber of the Concordat's central hub, representatives from 17 dominant spacefaring civilizations gathered in emergency session. The Arcanian elder, with skin like polished obsidian and eyes that glimmered with the collected wisdom of a 1,000-year lifespan, addressed the assembly. This transmission originates from Sol System, third planet. The elder's voice reverberated through the chamber. A world we designated as pre-spacefaring nearly 3 centuries ago. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. Earth was a backwater world, barely worth monitoring. The inhabitants had shown promise with their rapid technological development, but their violent tendencies and political fragmentation had led the Concordat to classify them as a Level 3 civilization. Observe but do not contact. Admiral Vexrid of the Taurian hegemony, a being of imposing stature with armored exoskeleton and calculating compound eyes, stepped forward. Impossible. Their technological capability was assessed at early atomic level. They should not possess interstellar communication abilities, let alone the capacity to bypass our security measures. Vexrid clicked his mandibles in agitation. This must be investigated immediately. Ambassador Lyra of the Scythian Republic, her slender form glowing with bioluminescent patterns indicating distress, joined the discussion. The message contains a threat, she observed. Regret will follow this. We cannot ignore such language, regardless of its source. The chamber erupted in debate. Some representatives dismissed the message as a fluke, perhaps a prankster within the Concordat itself. Others urged caution, advocating for a diplomatic mission to Earth. The more militaristic factions suggested immediate containment protocols. High Observer Kalian of the Surveyor Guild silenced the room with a simple gesture. The ancient crystalline being had been among those who had originally classified Earth centuries ago. I have accessed our historical records. Kalian's voice resonated with harmonic overtones. Earth was not merely classified as Level 3. There were anomalies in their development patterns, inconsistencies that defied our predictive models. Kalian projected a holographic timeline showing Earth's technological progression. Unlike the smooth, predictable curves of other species, Earth's development resembled a jagged mountain range. Periods of explosive advancement followed by plateaus or even regression. Most concerning was their response to existential threats, Kalian continued. While other species typically united when faced with planetary dangers, humans showed a pattern of heightened innovation during conflicts among themselves. The assembly fell silent as the implications became clear. The Concordat's non-interference policy with Earth hadn't been merely precautionary, it had been protective. What changed? Asked the Arcanian elder. 3 centuries of silence, and now this message. The answer came not from within the chamber, but from the Concordat's deep space monitoring network. A junior officer, trembling visibly, interrupted the council session. Honored representatives, we've detected activity in the Sol system. The main display activated, showing a real-time feed from the nearest observation post. Sol, a previously unremarkable yellow star, now appeared different. Surrounding it was a partial sphere of structures, the beginnings of a Dyson swarm. But more alarming were the objects leaving the system. Ships, hundreds of them, accelerating to speeds that the Concordat had only theorized as possible. How? Ambassador Lyra's bioluminescence pulsed erratically. How did we miss this? High Observer Kalian's crystalline form dimmed slightly. I believe they wanted us to miss it. The truth dawned on the assembly. Humanity had developed in isolation, screened from observation by technologies the Concordat didn't understand. The classification 3 centuries ago had been a catastrophic error. Or perhaps humans had deliberately masked their true capabilities. Admiral Vexrid's tactical mind quickly assessed the situation. We must mobilize immediately. If these humans possess technology that can bypass our communication security, who knows what their weapons can do? Wait, the Arcanian Elder counseled. The message is a warning, not a declaration of war. We should attempt communication before resorting to military action. The debate was interrupted by another transmission from Earth, this one accompanied by detailed stellar charts marking specific regions across the galaxy. The darkness approaches from these coordinates. You are unprepared. We offer one chance for cooperation. Disregard at your peril. The coordinates corresponded to the Galactic Rim, an area largely unexplored by Concordat expeditions. Data accompanying the transmission showed energy readings of impossible magnitude emanating from that region. Could this be legitimate? Ambassador Lyra wondered. A genuine warning rather than a threat. Before anyone could respond, alerts sounded throughout the chamber. The Taurian Defense Fleet, stationed at the edge of Concordat space, had detected the human vessels approaching. Acting on standing protocols, they had moved to intercept. Open a channel immediately, ordered the Elder, but it was too late. The tactical display showed the Taurian vessels firing warning shots across the paths of the human ships. The response was instantaneous and devastating. The human vessels didn't return fire. They simply continued on their course, and as they passed the Taurian fleet, the mighty warships went dark, disabled by some unseen force. All systems inactive, reported a Taurian officer. No casualties, but the fleet is completely immobilized. In the stunned silence that followed, a new transmission arrived, a live feed showing the human, female, with dark skin and eyes that seemed to evaluate each council member individually. I am Admiral Helena Chen, Earth Defense Force. Your ships fired upon our envoys. We responded with minimal defensive measures. Your vessels will regain functionality once we have passed beyond their weapons range. What is the meaning of your warnings? Demanded the Arcanian Elder. Why have you hidden your development from the Concordat? Admiral Chen's expression remained impassive. We did not hide. You simply failed to see. As for our warning, there is a threat approaching from the Galactic Rim that will consume all life if left unchallenged. We call them the Void. They have already destroyed 17 inhabited systems outside Concordat space. If this threat is real, why have our sensors detected nothing? Admiral Vexrid challenged. Because your technology is inadequate. Chen stated without arrogance, merely as fact. Earth developed along a different path than your civilizations. We focused on quantum observation technologies while you perfected faster-than-light travel. Both approaches have merit, but only ours can detect the void. High Observer Kalian's crystalline form pulsed with agitation. If what you say is true, why warn us? Why not protect yourselves and leave the Concordat to its fate? Admiral Chen's expression softened slightly. Because despite our differences, we share this galaxy. Because extinction should not be the fate of any sentient species, and because even with our technology, Earth cannot stand alone against what comes. The transmission ended, leaving the Council in silence. The human ships continued their journey, bypassing Concordat territory and heading directly toward the coordinates they had identified as the source of the threat. In the following days, the Concordat confirmed the destruction of the 17 systems Chen had mentioned. The evidence had been there all along, but their sensors had interpreted the data as natural stellar phenomena rather than the aftermath of an attack. As debate raged about whether to trust the humans, a single Cetian science vessel broke protocol and followed the Earth fleet toward the Galactic Rim. The data they transmitted back turned the tide of discussion. Confirmation of a massive energy distortion approaching Concordat space, exactly as the humans had warned. The Arcanian Elder addressed the Council one final time before they voted on their response. 3 centuries ago, we judged humanity unworthy of contact. We may have been more correct than we knew, but for the wrong reasons. They have surpassed us in ways we didn't imagine possible. Now they offer cooperation against a threat we cannot even properly perceive. The elders' ancient eyes swept the chamber. Perhaps the regret they warned of will not be theirs, but ours, for failing to heed them until it was almost too late. As the Council voted unanimously to mobilize all Concordat forces in support of the human fleet, a sobering realization settled over the Assembly. The galaxy's dominant coalition had just become the junior partner in humanity's war. The revelation. Captain Nira El Hashim of the Earth vessel Leonidas watched the massive Concordat fleet with a mixture of relief and apprehension. After decades of isolation, humanity was finally fighting alongside other intelligent species rather than preparing to oppose them. Concordat flagship is requesting permission to dock, Captain, her communications officer reported. Admiral Chen has authorized the meeting. Nira nodded, straightening her uniform. As commander of one of Earth's premier combat vessels, she would be part of the delegation meeting the Concordat representatives. The gravity of the moment wasn't lost on her. This would be humanity's first formal diplomatic contact with the galactic community. The docking procedure completed with precision, and Nira led her officers to the reception area. The airlock cycled, revealing a diverse group of beings. The Arcanian elder led the delegation, accompanied by Admiral Vexrid, Ambassador Lyra, and High Observer Kalian. Each alien form was more extraordinary than human imagination had conceived, yet their expressions, or equivalent physiological indicators, conveyed the universal language of concern. "Welcome aboard the Leonidas," Nira greeted them, executing the formal Concordat gesture of respect that they had studied from intercepted communications. Admiral Chen awaits us in the conference chamber. As they traversed the ship, the visitors' attention was drawn to the human crew. Unlike the specialized evolutionary paths of Concordat species, humans appeared remarkably adaptable, neither strongest nor fastest, but versatile in ways that suggested countless possible specializations. Admiral Helena Chen rose as they entered the conference room. At 63, she carried herself with the authority of someone who had witnessed humanity's greatest triumphs and most devastating setbacks. 300 years ago, Chen began without preamble. Earth detected a quantum anomaly at the galaxy's edge. Our scientists called it the void, a phenomenon that doesn't merely destroy matter but unravels the fabric of reality itself. She activated a holographic display showing the approaching distortion. Unlike conventional visualizations, this one operated on multiple quantum levels simultaneously, revealing complexities invisible to standard Concordat technology. "We tracked its path and progression," Chen continued. "It moves with purpose, targeting star systems with intelligent life. Each consumption accelerates its growth." The Arcanian elders studied the display with ancient eyes. "If you detected this threat centuries ago, why wait until now to warn the galaxy?" Chen's expression hardened. "We didn't wait. We tried to contact the Concordat immediately, but our messages were classified as primitive transmissions and archived without review." Ambassador Lyra's bioluminescence dimmed with embarrassment. The Concordat's bureaucracy and sense of superiority had nearly doomed them all. After multiple failed attempts, Chen explained, "Earth realized we needed to advance beyond the Concordat's technological level to force recognition. We redirected all resources toward quantum observation, defensive systems, and propulsion technology, and decided to isolate yourselves," High Observer Kalian noted. "Not by choice," Nira interjected. "The Concordat's observation posts around our system made it clear we were being studied like laboratory specimens. When we discovered your policy of non-interference with developing worlds, we realized no help would come until we helped ourselves." Admiral Vexrid clicked his mandibles thoughtfully. "Yet you continued to conceal your advancement. Your deception was necessary," Chen cut him off. "Your cultural records indicated that Concordat policy towards civilizations that advance too quickly involved containment and technology restrictions. We couldn't risk interference while preparing defenses against the void." The revelation stunned the delegation. Humanity hadn't developed in isolation due to xenophobia or aggression. They had been forced into secrecy by the very coalition now questioning their methods. The question remains, the Arcanian elder said softly, what can be done about this void? If it has consumed 17 systems already. Admiral Chen activated another display, showing Earth's defense strategy. The void operates on quantum principles that allow it to disrupt conventional matter. Our ships are equipped with quantum stabilization fields that can temporarily halt its expansion. Temporarily, Ambassador Lyra questioned. We can slow it, but not stop it completely, Nira explained. To destroy it requires targeting its nexus points, the coordinates we provided in our message. But reaching those points means traversing the distortion itself. Admiral Vexrid's tactical mind immediately grasped the implication. A suicide mission. Not necessarily, Chen responded. With Concordat ships providing perimeter support and Earth vessels penetrating the distortion, we estimate a 63% chance of success. The delegation exchanged glances. Such coordination between civilizations was unprecedented in Concordat history. Why would you risk your people for a galaxy that ignored you? High Observer Kalian asked directly. A moment of silence followed before Captain Nira answered. Because that's what humans do. We fight harder when the odds are impossible. We become our best selves when facing extinction. The meeting concluded with the framework of an alliance, the first true cooperation between Earth and the Concordat. As the delegation prepared to return to their flagship, the Arcanian elder lingered behind. Your warning message, the elder said to Admiral Chen. Regret will follow this. It was not a threat to the Concordat, was it? Chen's weathered face showed a hint of sorrow. No, it was a recognition of what was to come. Regardless of the outcome, there will be regret for the lives lost, for the 3 centuries of isolation, for the necessity of this war. The elder nodded slowly. Perhaps there is wisdom in your species that we have failed to recognize. As the combined fleet approached the expanding edge of the void, the truth of humanity's warning became impossible to ignore. The distortion swallowed light itself, creating an advancing wall of absolute darkness against the star-filled backdrop of the galaxy. On the bridge of the Leonidas, Captain Nira studied the tactical display. Earth vessels formed the vanguard, their quantum stabilization fields already engaging the distortion. Behind them, the massive Concordat fleet created a defensive perimeter, their weapons modified according to human specifications. All Earth vessels report ready, Captain, her first officer announced. Quantum cores at maximum capacity. Nira opened a channel to the fleet. This is Captain El Hashim. Remember your training. The stabilization fields will hold for 47 minutes at current distortion levels. Locate your assigned nexus points, deploy the resonance charges, and withdraw immediately. She paused, looking at the faces of her crew, representatives of a humanity that had never given up, even when abandoned by the galaxy they now fought to save. Humanity has prepared for this moment for 3 centuries, she continued. We are not alone anymore, but the responsibility remains ours. The void consumes everything, but today it faces something it has never encountered: human determination. As the Earth fleet engaged the distortion, their ships seemed to shimmer between states of existence, the quantum stabilization fields creating bubbles of ordered reality within the chaos. The Concordat vessels provided covering fire, targeting the energy tendrils that reached for the human ships. In the command center of the Concordat flagship, the delegation watched with astonishment as the humans navigated the impossible physics of the void. Their ships executed maneuvers that defied conventional understanding, pilots making intuitive adjustments to quantum fluctuations that Concordat computers couldn't even detect. How are they doing this? Ambassador Lyra whispered, her bioluminescence pulsing with wonder. High Observer Kalian's crystalline form shimmered as he processed the data. They're not following algorithms or programmed responses. They're improvising. Impossible, Admiral Vexrid insisted. No species can react quickly enough to navigate quantum fluctuations instinctively. Yet they are, the Arcanian elder observed. Perhaps this is why their development was so unpredictable to our models. Humans don't simply adapt to their environment. They force the environment to adapt to them. Within the void, Captain Neera's ship pushed deeper than any other. The quantum stabilization field flickered dangerously as reality itself became increasingly unstable. Her crew worked with practiced precision, each person functioning both independently and as part of a seamless whole. Nexus point detected, her science officer reported. Quantum signature matches predictions. Take us in, Neera ordered. Prepare the resonance charge. As they approached the heart of the distortion, sensors detected something unexpected. A structured pattern within the chaos, almost like a nervous system. The void. It's reacting to us, the science officer reported with disbelief. It's showing signs of sentience.